Xack Fischer!
Thank you, Chandler. Thank you, Comedy Bar. Wow, y'all are looking beautiful. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Hey, Joe Dombrowski is in the house. Can we hear it for Joe Dombrowski? Our feature tonight is going to be Bo Johnson. Can we hear it for Bo? My name is Xack Fischer, and I'm going to be your host tonight. One thing about me is my name is Xack Fischer, and I actually spell it with an X, which was super cool when I was 15 years old. And then I entered the workforce, and it became a lot less cool. And then Elon Musk renamed Twitter, and the stock of my name's at an all-time low. It's been rough out here. I live right around the corner here on Cap Hill. I love this neighborhood. There's so many types of people. I was leaving this bar the other day, and there was this guy in the corner just staring at me. He looked straight out of Sons of Anarchy. Okay? He was tattooed, he was bald, and when I left the bar, he followed me out. And I thought this guy was gonna kick my ass, okay? And he gestures, he goes, and I'm like, am I wearing a gang sign? What's going on? I go up, I'm like, I don't want any trouble. He goes, you're a real cutie pie. Turns out he wasn't a biker. He was a leather daddy. And it made my day. I'm not gay, but growing up, my mom kept asking. Probably because I would tell her that leather daddies made my day. But there were other things, you know, like I would go to school wearing eyeliner, right? Or I'd write fan fiction where the male characters made out. But like not in a gay way, just because the story demanded it. Let me explain, okay? I was a freshman in English. We had this assignment. We had a list of books, and the teacher said that we had to add a chapter to one of the books. And the book that I got assigned was The Outsiders. The readers in the room already understand. If you don't know it, The Outsiders is a beautiful love story about two platonic best friends. So I simply added the chapter where Johnny and Ponyboy made love. And I got an F. My teacher said I was being homophobic. I said the word you're looking for is homoerotic. But still, the next year I had to retake that class. This is all true. At the end of the year, I got back to that assignment. Same list of books, but this time my teacher said that I had to make a video adaptation of one of the books. And the book that I got assigned was Lord of the Flies. Now, if you don't know it, it's a beautiful love story. No, this was like 2009, you know, it was right after Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight came out. So people wanted like gritty and realistic reboots. And I figure if a plane full of young boys crash on an island, well, a few of them are gonna fool around. Needless to say, my small town did not appreciate the screening of my film the same way that Cap Hill might. But I did still manage to pass the class with flying rainbow colors. Thank you. Appreciate that. I actually got, the world's changing. I got this weird email from YouTube recently where they wanted to know about the demographics of their creators. So they asked me 4 questions. They're like, what's your gender? I said, male. They said, what's your ethnicity? I selected white. They said, do you identify as a member of the LGBT community? I said, no. And then the 4th and final question that they asked was, would you like to be invited to special events and celebrations based on your answers to the previous questions? I think YouTube invited me to a hate group, you guys. And that's not new, but they used to be more subtle about it. They would just recommend Joe Rogan videos, let the rest work itself out. Now they're like, YouTube presents January 6th, 2. Too fast, too treasonous. The internet's changing. Like, do you guys remember how super pervy the early internet was?
Oh, yeah.
Every website had that pop-up ad that's like hot sluts nearby or whatever. They've totally turned that around. Like, I was looking at porn the other day, and I got a pop-up ad that said, 5 ways to keep your dog healthy. And it put me in a tough spot. Because I was really just there for the cum shots. But I do want my dog to be healthy. I'll be honest, I closed the window, but then I felt guilty about it. Like, am I a bad dog dad? So I found myself going back to that porn website later when I wasn't horny and just clicking around to try to find that pop-up ad again. I never found it. Even when I typed the word dog into the search. Tech-savvy crowd tonight. Y'all know incognito mode?
Yes.
Appreciate your honesty. For those that don't know incognito mode, most people use it to look at their porn discreetly. But does anyone else use incognito mode when you just have a question that you're embarrassed to have in your search history? Like incognito mode?
Use it to search.
How many ounces are in a cup? Incognito mode. Is it okay for a white guy to use the word gracias at a Mexican food restaurant? Incognito mode. What are the 5 ways to keep my dog healthy? I'm going to share kind of an embarrassing experience that happened to me recently. I went to a Halloween costume party. I decided to dress as Frankenstein, right? I got like green face paint and like the bolts to screw onto my neck, and I got a scar on my face. And I went to this party, and as soon as I entered, there was all this dark red lighting that just neutralized the green face paint I was wearing. I was going for like Wicked, and it was more like 1920s vaudeville. In case you haven't caught on, it looked like I was in blackface. It was not good. So I rushed to the bathroom to wash this stuff off. The costume was not popular. But it was too late. The damage had been done. Somebody took a picture. I think I ruined my political career before it even started. And then the election happened. And now I think I'm going to get a cabinet position. Actually. Head of race relations. Any Grateful Dead fans in the house tonight? No? Me neither. That's okay. Just trying to find some acid. Now, what do you get when you cross a dead head with a carny? This guy. Okay, my mom was the deadhead, and she spent her 20s following the Grateful Dead around in a purple school bus that she named the Cosmic Eggplant. And she wrote all about it in a book that I read when I turned 15 years old. I was not ready. The thing is that nobody should have to learn the details of their own conception from an epilogue. It messed me up so bad I started spelling my name with an X, you guys. My dad, he was the carny, and he's already played a bigger role in this joke than he did in my childhood. So we're gonna move on. She's loving this. I don't know about the rest of you, but she's loving this. I grew up in a part of Northern California called Humboldt County. Anyone here know Humboldt? Shout out for me. What's Humboldt County known for? That's correct. Humboldt County is known for weed and cheese. Pretty much everyone I knew growing up was a pot farmer, and that used to be illegal. So when I was growing up, they told me never ask anyone what they do for a living, which still serves me well in Seattle, because I can avoid talking about software engineering. But I always categorized the growers down there into 2 camps. You had your hippie growers, and you had your redneck growers. And you could tell who were who from the gang colors. Tie-dye and camo. But as I got older, I came to realize that the hippies were just rednecks who were growing indica instead of sativa. You can tell who the stoners are based on who laughs at that one. When you grow up in Humboldt County, you kind of have like a different relationship with weed. You know, like most people, their first time smoking weed, it's like they go behind the school, the dumpster, there's some bad influence who digs through the trash, grabs an apple, the rest is history, right? For me, the bad influence was my mom. And we were hot tubbing together when she passed me the joint. I was 11 years old. Some of you are judging her right now. But this was actually a genius move, okay? Because I'd already been growing the stuff for years. I deserved to know what the fuss was about. And frankly, nothing makes you less interested in something than knowing your parents think it's cool. So I didn't smoke again for years. I have gotten over my rebellious phase. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit here. I'm gonna tell you guys some news me and my family got a few months ago. It turns out that my grandma was diagnosed with dementia. It's been very hard on all of us. If you find yourself in a similar situation with a loved one, I only have one piece of advice. Do not play the board game Clue with that person. You'll win, but you won't feel good about it. A few weeks after that, we got the news that my grandma had to get this cataract surgery in her eyes, and the doctor told her that for 3 weeks leading up to the surgery, my grandma couldn't have THC of any kind. And that's when we found out that my grandma had been taking this very potent little tincture every morning since I've known her. And she stopped taking it for the surgery, and her memory came back. So my grandma was re-diagnosed as being stoned out of her fucking mind. And my reign as Clue champion has come to an end. All right, I'm gonna give you guys one last little bit here before I bring out our next comic. Everyone back in Humboldt now, ever since 2020 and the pandemic, they're all like preppers. You know, they're all preparing for the end of the world. And it makes me wonder, like, at what point when you're preparing for the end of the world, do you start to root for the end of the world? You know, like you drop 20K on a bomb shelter, you want to use it at least once? Too real? When I was writing that joke, I was like, is 20K enough? Incognito mode. Hey, you guys, I've been Xack Fischer. Thank you guys so much for your time.